Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Optimize the ROI of Moderation with our all-in-one content moderation tool, Implio. My name is Emil Andersson, and I am the marketing assistant here at Besedo. And today I am joined by my colleague and our our customer success manager, Alessio Coco.
Hello, everybody.
We at Besedo, we work with content moderation. We help online marketplaces across the globe ensure the quality of their user-generated content through AI and our human expertise. We have been doing this for 16 years, and we have a global coverage from 6 different locations around the world. And that's about it. I will let Alessio take over. Take it away, Alessio.
Thank you. Please give me the rights to share so that I can start.
There we go.
Okay, so hope you see my screen.
We do.
I will disable my webcam so that I can start. So hello, welcome to the webinar again. My name is Alessio, and as Emil mentioned, I work as customer success manager here at Besedo. So today I want to show you Implio, our all-in-one tool designed and developed by Besedo to manage online content moderation, actually relying on our 15 years experience in this sector. So let's have a look at the tool. Implio works with teams. If you subscribe into Implio, you can create your own team. In this case, I'm logged into the Implio demo site team that you can see over here. And each team has a unique API key used for the API integration. So Implio uses RESTful API supporting JSON format. It takes decision, and then they can be sent back to your endpoint through a configurable webhook URL. There are 3 main tabs: the overview, the automation, and the manual tab. In the overview, where I am right now, you can access the analytics block. So looking at the Implio statistics and analyze the data received by the tool. For instance, what has been approved, what has been refused, either by automation or manual moderation. So I can also select the time interval from here. And this is quite handy because basically I can also change the type of information to visualize, and I can also spot some trends and patterns and peak hours, for instance, for the site. If I move to recent items, then I get another view with extra details on the latest data received by Implio. Here, as you can see, I can take a look at them individually, and I can filter them also based on the status, or again with the time picker over here. Now, let's have a look at the core of Implio, which is the automation block. So I switch to it, and as you see, there are a list with different set of rules. I want to say something here. We do have clients in the classified industry: dating, sharing economy, media agencies. There is really no limit for Implio in setting up a broad set of rules as they come in a very flexible way. We do have many existing rules already created, as the one you can see on the screen, by our team of filter specialists, supporting many languages. And we will keep adding more rules, especially increasing our text vision filters, which are based on semantic and NLP algorithms, and in the next future with image vision, enabling automation for pictures, like the ability to detect duplicated images. And over the past months, we also introduced new filtering capabilities, such as language detection filters, and we support today till 123 different languages, or geolocation filters, which resolve the user IP addresses in exact locations. So I kindly suggest you to take a look at the documentation in our knowledge base. You can find it here. And there you will also find how we made Implio compliant with the latest GDPR European regulation. But most important thing, don't forget that Implio is the main door to send data to custom AI models, which enrich Implio rules with decision taken directly by the machine learning module based on your own labeled data. But now let's have a look at Implio and how to create rules in it. You see the blue button over here, just click on it. Then you can add a name to the rule. For instance, test rule. And if you want, this is optional, you can add also a description to the rule. Then there are several conditions that you can add, selecting fields which are already present in Implio, with operators that are listed over here, and the text that you want to display. If you already know our Besedo language, blank, you can switch to the advanced mode, and here you see the example of the code that we use internally to create our own filters. So now let's make an example. For instance, assuming that I work for a classified marketplace, I want to detect all the cheap Rolex watches which cost less than 200 euros in outstanding conditions. Well, it sounds impossible. What do you think? So let's try to build a rule. The rule with the Besedo language will be something looking like this. So I have a variable text that contains Rolex. You see the regular expressions here, so it's case insensitive. The price less than 200, and body that contains some keywords like perfect and new. Here I actually could have used a list, which is quite handy to create an enumeration of keywords supporting also regular expression that can be referenced by a filter to simplify the configuration. Now it's very useful to see also the box on the right, because I can try out my expression. So I can input a title like brand new Rolex watch. I can change the body and say amazing new watch, and still expression doesn't match because the price is empty. So if I input the prices which is higher, doesn't match. But if I go to something which is lower, so there is an expression matches with the filter I just created. So it's very, very easy. Now look at the bottom. This is only the first part, so we create conditions to match. But then there are actions to follow. I can select one of the three. No action, send item to manual moderation, and refuse the item. With no action, I can simply test my rules to see if they match with specific keywords, so without impacting production environment. With the second one, I can escalate the items to the manual moderation queue. And in this case, it's very effective to highlight matching keywords or to display messages in manual moderation view if I want. Assuming that in this case, we would just want to refuse the item. So I click on refuse the item here, and then I can select a refuser reason. This is the list of our default reason. But of course, this is something we can customize for you. Then there is a status, can be on, off, and then that's done. I can create my rule. You see, it's over here, test rule we just created. So now let's try out the rule. There are two ways to push some data in Implio, and they are both easy. One is the Csv Importer. It's a tool that you find here. You can click on it, you can select a file to upload. So you can go to document, in this case CSV examples, illegal content. I go to the next step, and the tool will allow you to see the mapping already created by the CSV file and Implio parameters. Then you can preview the data, click import to Implio, and that's done. It's very useful. You don't need to integrate with the API, but that's an easy way to see how can you see the information there. Or if you want, you can use API integration. I already pre-built my API, so I will send in the background some data to Implio, and then I will search again in recent items if the data are correctly received by Implio. I should see something that reminds the Rolex ad. Here it is. You see the timing, just receive. It's refused. By this rule, this is the rule I just created. I can click on it. There are some keywords highlighted as expected. And you can also see that the decision rule impacting this ad is actually my own rule here. If I want, I can also edit the ad. So it was refused by automation as a scam. I can also take a different decision, for instance, and approve it. But let's move forward. So I just want to say that, for instance, today we have many clients having automation rate between 70 and 90% with an incredible accuracy level. That's very handy with our filters, but even more with our machine learning solutions that can bring accuracy level even beyond 99.99%, still keeping 90% automation. The final block is the manual one. So let's go to the manual interface. It comes with two predefined queues, the default and the escalated. So in the coming days, we're going to release a new big feature for Implio called multiple queues, where you can easily add and manage many different queues for your team, creating links between your automation filters and the item of a given queue. Now, if I access the default queue, I still have some items to moderate. Here you can see the new user interface for manual moderation. We created it with the feedback we collected over the years from our agents. We wanted to build a simple, clean, and easy interface to use while improving productivity and quality. So the items attributes are displayed in different sections. Here you have the content part. On the right-hand side, the user details and location details, plus additional information for moderation help and external links. The content comes with mandatory parameters like title and description that can be edited. There are pictures that you can add, delete, and there are multiple parameters. In this case, you see price, but I can add as many as I want because we support even customer-specific parameters if they are not already in the list of the parameters supported by Implio. So the purpose of manual moderation is to approve or reject an item. And here you see the button. Here I can approve it or I can refuse it, just clicking a refuse a reason. Third option, I can escalate it to the second queue where my expert colleagues, for instance, can moderate. Implio also support multiple revisions for the same head. So you see two older versions found because there are the same items that have been sent multiple times. So Implio automatically detects the latest version to show. Now, before we move forward, I just want to show you also that, for instance, from here, we can access our search engine. In this case, I can just click on some index parameters like a username, and then automatically it will search with this specific query all the usernames matching my keywords, Clint Eastwood in this case. And you see all the historical data. But if I want, I can use it also in a different way, just as you do with Google. Let's say that I know a fraudster using always this email address. So I search for it, running my query, and then I get all the results. I can also show it different areas. Just clicking on it, I can move and see also the decision rules impacting my results over here. So a few seconds again on Implio, just moving to the settings area. I want to show you what you can do here, for instance, to manage your team members. You can set your preference, inviting new people to your team and selecting a role for them. For instance, as admin, you can see all the different areas that I already show you. As a moderator, for instance, only the manual moderation. And then you also have the API integration block where you can retrieve the API key to be used to send data to Implio, and where you can input the webhook URL that we will use as a destination address for the decision. Everything is well explained by the API documentation, so don't forget to look at this link. Finally, moderation interface will allow you to see other properties, like number of items per page or pre-select button or allowing amendments. You can also play with the layout, so adding or removing sections to the screen. And you can also increase, for instance, the picture on the screen if you want, just to improve your moderation. I think now it's all about Implio. I hope I gave you a satisfactory view on how the tool works. So, Emil, I think it's now time to answer some questions that may have been sent by the audience during the webinar. So back to you.
Thank you, Alessio. Very detailed and spot-on overview of Implio. And indeed, we have received some questions, so I will just jump straight into them. Is it possible to amend a decision previously taken?
Yes, as I said, actually, if you go to the recent items, I showed it before, you can open items here and you see the edit buttons. So share my webcam, not sure if you see the screen again. This is the edit button. It was refused by automation. If I click on it, then I switch to the manual moderation again, and I can take again a new decision, so I can approve it this time. So that's the way to do it.
Yeah, great. We move on to the next question then. How long does it take to integrate Implio API?
Well, that's a very good question. We have many examples, and I think there is no one unique number that I can say as an answer. But I would say a few days might be enough already, because we had clients integrating in few days, and I would say max few weeks. It really depends on the resources that are allocated, and for sure from our side there is always cooperation and support if you need anything.
All right, great. We have another one which asks, can I use Implio only for the automation part and do a manual moderation on my site?
That's possible. In fact, Implio comes in different ways as a setup and different scenarios that are supported. So definitely you can integrate with API, send items to Implio, and use only the automation part of Implio. So the items will be sent back as a decision, and then you can take a final decision in your endpoint, in your backend, where you will have final manual moderation if needed. That's possible.
All right, great. I think we have a final question here, and that is, what accuracy levels does your customers achieve with the automation?
Well, I mentioned also during the presentation, I would say there is also in this case not a precise number, because it really depends on the setup that we build. With our manual filters, we are already able to provide above 95% of accuracy, but of course using machine learning in conjunction with Implio, we had examples where we have accuracy above 99.99%. So it really depends on the setup, and it really depends on the data that we need to digest with Implio, and in some cases on the quality of the data that we receive from our clients if we enable machine learning.
All right, but it's indeed possible to reach very high numbers then, almost 99.9%.
Yeah.
Great. I see that some people have joined a little bit late, and as you guys know, this was supposed to be a very short webinar. So lucky you that we have recorded this webinar. So all the information from the entire webinar, all the features, all the advice, everything that Alessio have showed has been recorded, so you can watch it again, and we will notify you once the recording is available and ready. And I will also share my screen for a second here. Here we go. I hope you guys can see this. So I want to encourage everyone calling in today to sign up and create an account on Implio, because here you have the opportunity to really test the power of the tool with your own data. So just as Alessio mentioned during the webinar, you can just import your data as CSV files, and then you can test out the automation, the manual interface, and all the other features available within Implio with your unique data. And you're, of course, more than welcome to get in touch with anyone here at Besedo, and we would happily help you with your unique moderation needs. So, Alessio, is there anything that you would like to add as a closing remark?
No, I think you said everything already, Emil. It's very clear from your side. So I hope they had already quite a nice experience exploring Implio. And of course, I'm always available to support any other question, any other request.
Great, thank you very much. So thank you, Alessio, for sharing your knowledge and showing us Implio and giving us a very good overview. And a big thank you to everyone in our audience. It's been great having you all along, and we hope to see you testing out Implio in the coming days. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.